Want to play a game?
Yeah.
Okay, so this game is called Give 'em the Boot, presented by Tecovas. And these boots are actually yours, Dusty's.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I got your boot size from your team. And how we play this game is Tecovas sends you a pair of boots, and there's going to be 4 or maybe 5 questions in the boot, and you can give one of them the boot. You don't have to answer it.
Okay.
But if you give one of the boot, then you have to answer the other ones. Yeah, these are yours,
nice
brother.
boot.
Yeah. You should wear these tonight, MGM.
Dang, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is amazing.
So questions in there, you
Okay.
reach out, answer it, you can give one the boot.
Okay.
Question number 1.
What's your favorite joke you ever told? I think I have a lot of them, but this is one I used to tell when I was drinking back in the day. I would say, if I like to drink so much that if I tell you I'm not drinking, I'm at least having 2 beers. If I tell you I'm going to go out, have a couple beers, then I'm getting drunk. If I tell you I'm getting drunk, then it's a guarantee that a window's getting broken, something's getting stolen, and somebody's sister's getting knocked up, Maybe mine,
Jesus. That's a good one, all right.
That was one of my favorites to tell.
Yeah.
It's like once you quit drinking, you kind of have to stop telling that because, well, now you're just anytime like if you're like anytime like a comic is like a fatter guy and then they lose weight, the tendency is to try to keep telling their fat jokes that they had and be like, I used to be.
Yeah.
But it never works. You have to. It just has to. So when you quit drinking, it's kind of tough. I do a fair amount of drinking jokes, but they have to be all past tense type stuff.
Yeah. You can't be the sober guy now telling all these drunk jokes
Yeah.
like your sister getting knocked up.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work anymore.
Right. It's like that kind of thing. There's no excuse for it when you're sober.
Yeah. All right, question number 2.
Okay. All right. Okay. If you could be any human on earth, who would you be? And you can't say yourself. This is always a tough question for me, these kind of questions, because I'm like, there's plenty of cool people.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, I don't know, you want to be yourself. But let's see, who would I be? Matthew McConaughey?
Ooh, that's a good one. Why?
I mean, like young Matthew. I mean, he's like the coolest guy alive. And he got a great voice. I think that's who I would be. I don't want to be Matthew McConaughey, but if I had to make I would say that. I mean, because Dazed and Confused was his first movie, I think, and that's still the movie. You can I like to go, all right, but that's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
But people will still go, all right, and it's so great.
He is a cool guy too.
Yeah.
Every Texas game you plug it on TV, he's on the sideline coaching up the boys.
Oh, yeah.
And
And there's a lot of people I like, but I don't know that I would want to be them.
Yeah.
He feels like he's got a good life. I really like Hank Williams Jr., right? But you think about Hank Williams Jr. and the guy, his dad died when he was real young. He fell off a mountain and almost died and crushed his face. And then he's had, I don't know, I just feel like, and then you just look, you think about some of these guys, musicians sometimes, and you go, are they really happy? There's a guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he has a song where he says, memories cost a lot when you don't make them,
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I don't know, it just seems like, you have all this pain in your life, and that's what you write songs about, but you're like, is that a happy life, though? Just because you're like a successful musician, does that mean you're really happy?
Yeah.
It's true about comics, too. I am happy, though, just for the record. I don't want to make a statement like that, and you guys go, is he? What was your worst time you bombed on stage?
Ooh, yeah.
I would, well, there's a lot of times. It is, when you do comedy, especially if you do it like I did, where you don't have a fan base for a long time. Like some people now, they're able to create something on social media, not saying it's bad, but they create something on social media, they blow up, and then they start doing comedy, and right away, it's their fans. But when you do it like I did, where you're doing comedy for, at least 10 years with no fans, you're just doing comedy for strangers all the time.
Would you do a show and 2 or 3 people showed up?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Oh.
Now, most times, any club, they're like, we need at least 6 people here to do the show. But I have, I talk about Johnson City, Tennessee. They used to have a comedy zone there, and I've been there when it's like there's 4 people in the audience, and we're all geared up to cancel the show, and then a couple people show up, and they're like, all right, we're on. And you're like, oh, jeez. And they feel like these people wandered in like they don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
And now they're about to be the main focal point for the next 90 minutes. I mean, I had a show in Tuscaloosa. My friend just reminded me of this one. We showed up in downtown Tuscaloosa, and nobody, like we walked in and there was a stage in the middle of the room. We were both like, this is about to be a nightmare. It was a busy bar, and they were like, the guy goes, yeah, no one bought tickets. No one showed up for the show. He goes, I'm going to pay you, but we'll just go ahead and cancel the show. So I didn't bomb, but it's a little disheartening to know that no one came. This is years ago. But also, it was nice because I was like, we just got paid. Let's go eat some food, you know? But I've also bombed, I bombed pretty early on in a show where I did a couple of new jokes that I wrote. It was all new jokes, but a couple of jokes right off the top, big hits. Audience was going crazy. Huge laughs. I mean, I was like, oh man, I'm amazing. I'm the best comic ever. And then I hit my next bit of new jokes, and it goes completely silent, and I never get them back. And that's the worst kind of bomb.
Ooh,
because if you just bomb from the start, you can always tell yourself, I just never got them on my side, or they didn't like me, or this is a tough crowd. But when they like you and then you lose them, that's the worst. I wanted to quit after that. I've had people, because hecklers are not so bad until they find a way to like really hit you with something, where you're like, I was doing a show at a sushi bar. I shouldn't have been doing it.
What do you mean you were doing a show at a sushi bar?
Well, they were, they had a little comedy show they were doing it, and I was like, they asked me to do it. And at this point, I don't like to say I was above it, but I was kind of beyond the sushi bar at that point. But I was like, yeah, I'll do it. They're my friends. And I was up there doing it, and there was like a couple of guys talking in the back, and I just kind of motioned to them. And this guy goes, yeah, you're hilarious. And it just hit me. I just was like, you know what? I'm not even going to do the show. That's the only time I ever walked off stage. But it hit me in a way that personally affected me for days. I mean, comedy, it's like you could have 1 million shows in a row that are like amazing. And then you have one, like really a show like that where it just eats away at you. You're like, am I even funny? What am I even doing out here?
Damn, that's deep.
It is the strangest thing. I mean, you could be on cloud 9, and then the next thing you know, you're like, what's happening? Especially, I've noticed it now that I got a bit of a following. I'm doing these theater shows. I go out, the crowd's cheering for me right away. I get right into my jokes. It's going great. I do sometimes an hour, 20 minutes, and then I go to the open mic at the club where it's just a random group of people, and I'm doing some jokes, and I'm like kind of bombing the jokes. And I'm like, have I already tapped into this thing where I'm only funny to my fans? And I don't think it's true, but that's what goes on in your head.
Huh.
But I think to some degree, it's like I'm not treating the open mic like I am my show.
Yeah.
It's my show. I'm like, all right, here we go. We got to go out. We got to nail it. At the open mic, I'm like, well, these jokes probably aren't funny. They're new. All right, so this is...
Yeah, last one.
So I could boot it.
You could boot it. I hope not. I like this one, I think.
Who is your favorite comedian right now and ever? My dad made fun of me for reading one time, and that's true. And my dad wanted me to get good grades, but didn't want me to read. I don't know what he expected me to do. But I would say it's hard to say favorite comedians right now because I don't really watch a ton of comedy. I do a podcast with Nate Bargatze. Nate is so funny. I mean, he's maybe the best comic working right now.
You think? I met him one time at a Troubadour out in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
He loves playing golf.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like a great guy.
So nice, so funny. He's really good. I like, but, as far as Comics that I've always liked. I mean, I like Mitch Hedberg was one of my first comics when I first started doing comedy that I really liked. He's just kind of a weird one-liner comic. I like old Bill Hicks. I liked an album by Steve Martin called Let's Get Small. Really great. I loved Jeff Foxworthy as a kid. First 2 albums are still like some of the best comedy
Jeff is
out
there.
Bill Engvall, I like the Here's Your Sign album. I mean, that stuff was great. That was kind of my early people. Now I watch a lot of stuff on TikTok. I mean, a lot of people make fun of Matt Rife. I don't mind a Matt Rife clip. I like a good crowd work clip. I watch too much comedy in clips, but John Mulaney, some of his early stuff, like he has a bit, I think it's just audio, called the Salt and Pepper Diner. Really funny bit. I have tons of people that I do comedy with now that are funny. Brian Bates, Aaron Weber. They both do the podcast with us. Very funny.
That's awesome. Foxworthy's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
That guy's a stud, man.
I mean, he's so funny. But his first 2 albums, You Might Be a Redneck and Games Rednecks Play, I mean, those are really great. Even you could take the You Might Be a Redneck stuff out, and they're still great comedy albums. I mean, it was like, because all that stuff was hitting me in a way, it's like, and it was hitting everybody, but just words that you didn't think about. He had a witcha did ya, you know? And it's like, he's like, you didn't bring your truck, witcha did ya? And it's like, oh man, we are saying that.
Yeah.
That is what we
He
say.
opened up, like, what we're talking about today, those people in rural America that just have that little twang. Like, I actually really do say that.
Yeah. I mean, like, even he's like, one of my favorites is like, he's talking about running out, there being a dog in the yard. You run out on the porch and you go, get on out of here. And it's like, that's exactly what I say. Like, how did he nail it like that? Get on out of here. And it's just like, oh man. I mean, he was so great. I mean, I was middle school. I was living in a trailer in middle school when that stuff came out. And I was like, man, he is nailing it. And it felt good. It gave a voice to maybe not a voice, but it was like somebody was talking to that part of America finally. Because you had Jerry Clower, James Gregory. I mean, those are legends, but Jeff Foxworthy really perfected it.